Joining us today, he is the author of Why We Love Star Wars, the great moments that built a galaxy far, far away. If you're an internet nerd like me, a movie nerd, just an all-around podcast nerd, this is our guy, one of the best that we have in the community right now. Chicago stand-up for our guy, Ken Napzok. Ken, how are you, buddy?
Oh, man, that's a great intro. Thank you, Mike. I'm doing great. Just was out there in Chicago in April. Love that city, so love the people out there. Happy to talk to you all.
Yeah, and you know what? Chicago not only is going to love Ken even more after Star Wars Celebration hit the Windy City, and now we have this passion project that just so happens to be some awesome work, on top of it. It's always one of those blessings when you see somebody who has a passion project that also is well done and has all that behind it. What was kind of the starting process of this? Was this a lifelong thing? Was this one of those thoughts that came out of nowhere? Where did it start?
A little column A, a little column B. I think I've always wanted to be, I'm a writer, and I've written for, stand-up and stories and short things, but I've never written a book, and that's a different skill, and I always wasn't sure if I had it, but I always thought, all right, I think I want to. But want and doing it are two different things, so I had put it off for a long point. And I'm not even necessarily saying I just wanted to write a Star Wars book. I'm just talking about writing a book in general. So when my career path kind of switched a little bit, I went from a full-time employee, kind of found myself freelance, trying to figure out what to do with my career from that point on. I really focused on, all right, let's try to do something we haven't done before and haven't had the time to do before, and I focused on a book. I had a couple ideas, some of them non-Star Wars, but I met with my good friend Alicia Malone, who fans of the Schmoes know, or the Turner Classic Movies, where she works now, might know her, and she had just written two books for Mango Publishing, Backward and in Heels, and The Female Gaze, and I just kind of consulted with her about it. She said, I think you can do it. She pointed me in the direction of Mango Publishing, and we settled on a Star Wars idea. It just made sense, with that being my focus in a lot of my work with the Force Center podcast and Collegiate Council and all that stuff. And that's where it began. And then the scary thing started. They said, go write it.
And Ken, what I love that you hit on too was, you're mentioning Alicia Malone, one of the best, like literally one of the classiest, awesome ladies that you can watch in this whole circle. But what I love that you hit on is some of the work, the people you surround yourself with. How important is it to, you don't want to be a clone, you don't want to be just the other one, but to take a little bit of everybody, to take all the things that you learn from somebody and then focus it onto a project like this. How much of a benefit was it to have such a plethora of these awesome people behind you that gave you that you can use as a motivation or a source or just like that backlog? How important was that for you in this process?
I think that's a great question, and no one's really asked that about the team that's around us. We have a good crew. A lot of us, we're friends. The Schmoes Know crew, and then through that you meet people like Alicia Malone, Mon Garrett, Scott Mance, Roxy Stryer, all those people. A lot of them who maybe are in the circle now, but back in the day were just someone you met in the hallways when we would do the Schmoes show and everything. And it's really important. It's important professionally. They always say, "Hey, network." Right. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean going to parties and passing out business cards. It just means you start coming up with a group of people. I mean, I saw it in stand-up and sketch comedy too. And you can feed off each other, help each other, counsel each other. Sometimes it's straight out competition, and we don't want to admit it. I want to get something. That person did that. I love that person, but I want to do that too. Right. And that's kind of inspiring in its own way. And it's nice to have people in your corner professionally. And then that leads to, personally, you get a lot of support if you're down and out. My writing partner, Matt Key, and I, we hold each other up when we need it. I have great conversations with Tiffany Smith. We'll grab lunch and just kind of check in with each other mentally. And I couldn't do any of this without my girlfriend, Grace Hancock, who I met through this world too. So sometimes you even find love in these worlds, and all that feeds into these projects and allows you to do it because it's not always easy. And I had a couple breakdowns during the writing process where I just couldn't find the words and didn't think I was worth this or could do it. And that's the stories you don't always hear. And therefore, it's those connections you're talking about that become very important during those moments.
Ken, when you just mentioned that, it really hit me in the soul. My girlfriend, she's a writer, and she just finished up her fifth year of college. She's got all these degrees, and she's going to these conventions, writing, and that block that a writer gets, is so mentally and spiritually devastating from a partner's perspective to see, like, it's in there. You want to just shake and be like, just shake it out. Pour it over like some salt. But for you, how important was it to not only the amazing people around you to get over that, but to also almost embrace that moment, because the success on the other end doesn't come without that, that writer's block?
Yeah, it's a weird thing, and I've heard say before that there's no real thing called writer's block. You have to, that's a mental thing, and I get it. I think it is the term that best describes what we go through and what your girlfriend's going through and what I went through. It's a confidence thing. It's a moment. There's I got a copy of the book in front of me. I'm trying. I think it was essay 21 that I wrote. There's 104 essays in here, and I think essay 21 is about Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I know Kenobi. I've watched Star Wars my whole life. I'm writing this damn book, right? I got it. I couldn't write it. I just broke down, and it just was a weird situation. And you just have the girlfriend pats you on the back and says it's okay, but also get back in there and you're going to do it, and that's where the concept of writer's block goes away. You just have to do it and push through it, and that's what happened. But yeah, that kind of support. I don't think people talk about that, the creative process. It ain't easy. It ain't easy.
Why we love Star Wars, the great moments that built a galaxy far, far away. Get it everywhere right now. Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, all the great places. Make sure you guys are checking out Ken Napzok on Twitter. You guys can check out a link right there. We'll definitely retweet this interview and tag him in it so each and every one of you gets your hands on this book. It's summertime. I know all you are going down to Wrigley Field and to U.S. Cellular, Comiscular to watch the White Sox and the Cubs, so you're going to need something on the train to read, and this is the material for you as we get to the summer season. Ken, I know the book's about Star Wars, but the one thing that I think anybody who's been a fan of the schmoes or just you in general is there's so much creativity behind it. It's not just Star Wars. So when you're writing this and then you're getting that out of your system, you're like, oh, you know what? Like, I know Star Wars and I'm doing this and this, there's some toughness to it, but we're getting through it. That next challenge, did that start coming up during this book that, okay, I love what I just did here, but, oh, you know what? I might want to go for the United States Championship instead of the Intercontinental,
Yeah, let's talk wrestling. There's some things on my plate. There's you have to take the momentum you get in this town and this business. I've been in LA now since 1998. A lot of different points of my career, which included a very long day job during that time to support me, broadcasting, podcasting, stand comedy, sketch comedy, the movie Trivia Schmodown, Schmoes No, Collider, Screen Junkies. It goes on and on and on. The point is, you sometimes don't really know. So when you have a little bit of momentum, and I hope I get it from this book, you start saying, all right, what am I going to do next? And there's some things, but also there's a project, I can't talk about it, but there's a project that 10 years ago, almost to the month, started working on, and it's a scripted program. It's this project, and it was gone, dead, nothing, and suddenly some pieces fall into place, and that's suddenly back into play. And I'm hoping to hear some stuff on that. But point is, you never know. And that thing you started working on 10 years ago, the person you met 15 years ago, suddenly becomes the big connection or the key to you moving forward. You just have to kind of be open to it and keep your head down. It's not a sprint, as they say out here.
Ken, it's interesting because you're one of the people who really understands what it is to put your heart and soul in a lot of different projects and a lot of different worlds and a lot of different mediums. But when you're reading, if you do read your book again, or if you're ever just kind of going through it to kind of do the study guide again and going through film, as they say in sports, right? Do you see yourself kind of changing throughout that book? Do you see the difference of the Ken 6 months when you were writing this part of the book to the eighth month mark to so on and so forth? Do you see the different versions of yourself while you're reading this?
Yeah, a little bit. I generally wrote it in order from 100 up. And again, it's a great moment to build Galaxy Far Far Away. So I chose 100 moments from Star Wars to write about, and there's some bonus stuff in there too. So I generally wrote it in order. What I was trying to accomplish changed a little bit. It took so long that I found myself occasionally repeating things I had written about months earlier. I still think it's too much in the book. I know it's odd in an interview criticizing your own book, but I probably say too many times that Han Solo is my favorite Star Wars character. It's like, I get it, Ted. You like Han Solo, but I because I approach each essay as if you can read it. So, yes, you do change. That's a great question. You do look back and go, oh, I would do that again, different.
He's one of the best that we have in the industry right now. It's Ken Napzok, and you don't get any type of candid answers from anyone else like this in our industry. It is why we love Star Wars, the great moments that built a galaxy far, far away. Ken, I know, you're super busy out there in the West Coast. You guys always got something on the docket, and, you got this little thing, I don't know, a little book going around tour right now, and you might be a little busy. So before I let you go, Chicago loves everything you guys have done, you and the team, throughout the years with the Schmoes, and they're doing a Collider, and then now what you and the lady are doing, and especially just seeing you thrive, and, people you've always been kind of that big brother, the uncle, the one the Jimmy Hart of all of us, that we've always just wanted to see you get the best of the best, and to see you get to this moment, it really does the fandom and people in the industry a lot of good. So you know what, Chicago is yours. Tell us what do you want the people to know before we let you go and continue on your rise to stardom?
I'll take that. If you're a Star Wars fan, and you no matter what part of the journey you joined, whether it was 1977, the mid 90s, Phantom Menace, the Clone Wars cartoon, that might have been your entry point. It doesn't matter. This is a book for every Star Wars fan, man, woman, and child. Very important to note. And it's my journey, my point of view, but I think you'll find it covers a wide base of the fandom. And if you just love Star Wars and you love getting lost in this world, check it out, read it. Let me think. There might be some stuff that make you think twice about. There might be some stuff you go, nah, I don't like that. That's not what I agree with, and that is fine. The discussion is always welcome here in Star Wars, but above all, it is about a love of this space opera that we all fell in love with in 1977 and beyond.
That's wonderfully said. And you know what, Ken, since we have you on, before we really let you go now, you know what? The fandom does listen to you. And I think, we get a bad rap. All fandoms do, from Game of Thrones, MCU, DC, whatever, sports fandoms. We all get it, music genre. But now that we're talking to our people in Star Wars, MCU, DC right now and all that, is there a way to just properly, like you and I were having this conversation, we really didn't talk about the intricacies of Star Wars, but people can talk. Strangers can talk. They become acquaintances. They become friends. That you expand our own universe. How important is it to you that we take away this toxic environment that we got from this, like you said, this epic space opera that was given to us all this time back and generations have grown up together with?
I wish it could be fixed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
I still think more people love it than want to tear into it. I think it has to. It's a larger conversation, but it has to do with, over the last 5-6 years, how we talk about this media has changed. Where when I first started appearing on shows to talk about Star Wars and Game of Thrones and all that kind of stuff, 7 years ago, it was from a point of love. Like, oh my gosh, I love this thing.
Right.
This little section in Star Wars is kind of silly. I don't like this thing, but gosh, don't I love Star Wars. And now it seems to be the other way around, where you like, oh, Star Wars, here's reasons to hate it. Here's a sin that the movie did. Here's this. And it just seems we build kind of a negative culture. You just want to change a lot of things, but I concentrate on what I believe in, which is celebrating the things I love. It also means discuss. I actually talked about it in the book. I love parody of Star Wars. I love Hardware Wars. It was the first parody of Star Wars back in 77, 78. It's one of my favorite things. You still laugh at this and love it. That was the first place for me where I kind of had to pull out of the discussion, because it just was getting, toxic and just tough. It took the fun out of it. I don't know why you want to take the fun out of these things, because the world's pretty serious. It's nice to have these worlds to crawl into and provide us joy and comfort and entertainment. So that's where I start from. And you can only change your own tone. You can only change your passion, around you.
This is why you are on the forefront of this, and it has truly been an honor here to get you out here in Chicago, to get into the audience that we have here, that it is such a big thing for us that it became a pop culture phenomenon, and what it does mean to a lot of families and a lot of individuals, and how much it's helped people. And really check out why we love Star Wars, the great moments that built a galaxy far, far away. If you're a podcast or internet nerd like myself, check out Ken Napzok. Absolutely. Almost everywhere in the universe. He's like the Ryan Seacrest. Between him, Makuga, all these crazy men, they're all like the Jimmy Fallons of the podcast world, but that's all right. We still love them. They're all over our place. Ken, you're the best, brother. Thank you for everything. Good luck. I can't wait. Promises you'll be back when you write the next one.
I will. Absolutely.